Congressman Aaron Schock, a lot of talk this week, a lot of big topics in the Quincy area, namely the United States Postal Service sorting center. What have you heard on that front?
Well, obviously the Postal Center is losing several $1 billion a quarter, and they are a standalone entity not supported by taxpayer money. And so I support their effort to try and become efficient, competitive in the free market. They're competing with companies like FedEx and UPS, and they need to start worrying about their customers, who are the American citizens, and their operational structure, and start streamlining and making it more efficient. It's not good anytime a processing center closes and people lose their job. Certainly if you have a small town and a small local post office, it's not a fun thing to see your post office close, but at the end of the day, the federal government is broke. We're borrowing 40 cents out of every dollar we spend, and we simply don't have the money at the federal government to go in and bail out the Postal Service. So there's going to be some painful cuts before their bottom line improves.
Is the talk of reductions in service from Amtrak very much along the same lines?
You know, Amtrak is going to have to defend the subsidies that they get. I do believe there is a role for public transportation, whether it be in the bus systems or whether it be on the rail systems. But, you know, there's been a big debate since President Obama has become president over rail and his march towards needed more infrastructure in high-speed rail. The interesting thing about high-speed rail is it's several $100 million a mile to build a high-speed rail track, and there is no high-speed rail system in the world that is self-sustaining. In other words, it needs continual subsidies to operate. How is that relevant? Because the debate right now is not whether or not we should continue to support Amtrak as it currently is, but whether we should continue to give as much money to the president as he's wanting to invest in all these new high-speed corridors, which only create more long-term liabilities at a time in our country when we can't afford what we've got already.
Finally, what's the scuttlebutt on the president's jobs plan?
Well, the jobs plan has been met with a loud thud. If you were in the Capitol the night he gave the speech, I really almost felt sorry for him. I mean, even the Democratic members I served with struggled. Twice his applause lines fell flat. Nobody applauded when they were supposed to. Very few of the Democrats stood up in standing ovations when they were supposed to. The fact of the matter is, it's more of the same. Again, our country's broke. 40 cents out of every dollar we spend is borrowed. The notion that we're going to spend another $400 billion to get out of this mess is just more of the same. You can't keep spending money you don't have. And if you look at the policies that he's promoting, it's by and large more of the same. Over half of the $400 billion that he wants to spend is to continue two policies. One is the unemployment extension at 99 weeks, so somebody who loses their job can stay unemployed for 2 years. And the second policy is to keep the payroll tax deduction in place, a policy that's been in place for 2 years. So, Bob, the question that begs is, how can you keep promoting the same policy and expect to get different results? That's the definition of insanity. And it's why Democrats and Republicans both say this is not a jobs bill, this is stimulus 2.0. What we really need to do is simplify our tax code, get the government out of the way, the private sector, the EPA and OSHA that are out of line and overstepping their bounds, pass some trade agreements so there's more customers for our manufacturers and agriculture goods here, and that's what will get our economy going, the private sector.